there.
We are there. Hey, folks, if anyone's tuned in, I see it's only you and me right now, Farley, but when someone tunes in, it's going to be going live on the dot at 4. Hang on, I'm just going to get something out of my eye. It sounds very delicate, you know. So
There we
it's,
are.
yeah, can't wait for my new glasses. So it's, I wonder, I just want to say, did you just give a thumbs up?
Nope, that's not me.
No. So somebody gave a thumbs up. I wonder if the two people watching are, I thought it was you and me, but maybe it's two other people. Hi.
We've got more. Say hello in the chat and let us know if you're there.
Yeah, exactly. It would be really cool. This is the first time for me ever going live. And Farley runs the social media. Anyway, it's 4 o'clock, Farley.
Yeah, it is.
Hello to anyone that's tuned in. It's Dominic from the MS Guide. I'm doing Ride Canada for MS. And I'm here with Farley. And Farley owns the social media company that is handling all of the social media because posts of late are not me. I'm out training or eating. And so Farley's
you
doing
get
it all.
far too much to do.
Yeah. So it's hey, hi Karen. So it's I can see this is I got such bad.
So that's
Mrs.
Mrs.
Spark.
From
Yes,
TikTok.
my stalker, Mrs. Sparkles, put me in touch with the chap in Scotland who does a podcast. So thank you very much. Yeah, so there's 3 people. Anyway, Farley, over to you.
So it's been really, really good because we've had so much interest across all the platforms. So if anyone can find RC4MS or the MS Guide, I think pretty much we're on every single platform. So we've had a fair few questions, but one of the main ones coming through is why. So without much context of like, why are you cycling across Canada, Dom?
All right. Why? It kind of goes back. It's a bit convoluted. I'll try and give you a shorter answer. There is a neurologist that many people have heard of called Prof. G, Gavin Giovannoni. And he was my neurologist for a while until he's now retired. Hopefully not because of me, but well, he's retired from clinical practice. He's doing research. But we were chatting last August about things to do. If we go back further, there's a neurologist who was a super guy, and sadly he's died. And his name was Matt Craner. And he was quite big in the UK MS neurology community and did a lot of research. And I was on a drug trial for something called Tecfidera, which is Tecfidera, that's it, dimethyl fumarate. So it's Matt was my doctor on that, and I distinctly remember it because it turns out Matt had done his PhD in the States. He finished early. Matt was also in the Navy, so he had a lovely income because he was a Navy doctor, and it was all funded. He finished early, and his supervisor said, "What do you want to do?" And he had about 5 weeks, I think. And Matt said, "Oh, I'd love to cycle across the States." And he said, "Get going, then I'll cover you." And so Matt and I were chatting about this, and then we got carried away, and we were drawing a map on his desk. And then the nurse, Anna, walked in and went, "What are you two doing? There's people waiting." And he was like, "Oh, sorry."
Priorities.
Yeah, but it goes back to Matt, who was just a lovely guy. He loved cycling. And then I went through a real sort of dip, not feeling my best, and I've had alemtuzumab, and I like to think I'm stronger than I am, or less affected with 33 years of MS than I am, but it probably took me a good year and a half to finally get through the alemtuzumab. Well worth it, I might add. And then I thought, you know what, I'm feeling up to this. I used to cycle and chat with Gavin. He talked me up to $1 million, which I think is cool, but it's a headline thing because I was going, ooh, $500,000, maybe we should just aim for. No, pick $1 million. You know, and Gavin's sort of famous for his ambition, shall we say. So I thought, oh, sod it, picked $1 million. You know, because I think it's perfectly doable if everybody shares this on social media. Yeah. By the way, there's 21 people, Farley. It's frightening.
No.
So it's
So put in the chat if you're watching and where you're from. That'd be really good.
Yeah, I know. Karen, just so you know, Karen, I have such bad eyesight, and this is on a telephone, that I have to do this to read what you're saying. So it's if I pull faces and put my glasses up, it's only because even with varifocals, which it's come to this stage, my optometrist, who happens to be a friend of mine, said lose the varifocals because I've got such big prisms on the side of my glasses there.
Oh
Because the
wow.
MS makes your eyes, yeah, they're like Coke bottles on the side and
Yeah.
nothing there. And it's to try and get my eyes to meet in the same place, which
Okay.
they do. But I've also got varifocals in because I got my first pair when I was 40, so 16 years ago. And I said to the optician, oh, and they went, you're getting old, get over it. Oh, okay.
But is
And
that all from MS though? So the
yeah,
eyesight because of
it's
MS?
okay. So not being short-sighted per se, because you're wearing glasses, I'm wearing glasses, but it's called diplopia, double vision. So because my eyes don't want to meet in the same point, they can, so should we say, slightly cross over. And if
Right.
I take my glasses over now, I've got two of you, and put
Yeah.
them back, and bop, it's back to you.
Yeah.
So I'm getting single vision glasses for the ride,
Hmm.
in fact, and hopefully they're sponsoring them. So I never got so much stuff, but then the sponsoring, and I just feel like, oh my God, do people know something I don't?
So that was one of the questions, was what sponsors and what support have you had already? Because we're still, so it's starting the 1st of May for anyone watching who's not sure. So the ride will start from the 1st of May, 8,000 kilometers across Canada. But this has been a while in the making, but you've already had quite a lot of sponsors and support. So what have you received and got so far?
Gosh, I've got a picture here on
I
my
put you on the
computer.
spot now because I know where the
No,
list
no, no,
is.
no. I've got a picture here on my computer of the trike. So iStrikes gave me 40% off the trike because it's not for me, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's to do it. Um,
And can we just
there's
say quickly there, because at the end of the ride, the trike is being donated as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm giving it to a disability riding charity. They call it adaptive riding charity, and that is called Rocky Mountain Adaptive. And
Hmm.
in the winter in the Rockies, it'll come as no surprise, they do all the skiing stuff.
Hmm.
And then in the summer, they do all the biking, the mountain biking, and the road cycling. And trikes are really good. You see them as adaptive
Mm.
bikes for people. You can put all the controls on one of the handles. You know, people may have seen pictures of me on the trike. So let's say that you're missing an arm for whatever reason, or you can't use your hand, or you do that. They can be adapted to use electric assist because some people, as many of us will know with MS, sometimes it's feels a bit much. You
Mm.
know, so if you've got that sort of feeling, you know, you can still get out and do some exercise, but it's electric assist.
Yeah.
You know, I'll crack one day. Right now, I refuse. I think it's this sort of blokish bit of me. I was in Sheffield in 2017 doing my masters, and I've got a Brompton as well. One of those little fold up bikes for the train. Somebody
Yeah.
said, "Get an electric one." I'm like, "You are joking."
This is all me, all the powers
Yeah,
coming from
yeah,
you.
yeah. And if anybody knows Sheffield, it's really hilly. And
Yeah.
my view is the way you ride up hills is you pedal harder.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, being realistic, if you can't, you know, if that's too much, then adapting something like a trike, or you know, had the balance issues on a trike,
Mhm.
and MS can make you, and I get or more wobbly after exercise, which doesn't harm me, but it's not a great feeling. And you know, the trike I can just stop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fall off, you know, and I don't weave around, you know, because if I'm on a bike, especially with, as I mentioned, my eyes start looking over my shoulder and stuff. According to other people, when I used to ride in a group, it started to get slightly alarming when I was weaving around. It's like you don't want to take it right out,
Yeah.
but the trike's great. But you were asking sponsors.
Yeah.
There's a company called 4i in Canada, and then 4eyes, and they do power meters, which
Mhm.
are, you know, just like it sounds, it measures your power, and it's a cycling thing. It goes in the crank arm. So the cranks are from 4i. They gave me a set of cranks. And if you're a bike nerd like me, you know, the Shimano Ultegra 8000s, which are pretty cool. I've
Yeah.
got a ceramic bottom bracket from Nova Ride. I have a rotor ring, a 40 tooth. You know, it's one of the eccentric.
Yeah.
every little advantage. Rotor ring. I have for the ride, I'll be changing that out and putting a brand new one on. You know, I've got a local bike shop called Beeline Bikes in Oxford, and I've known them for years, and they've just given me all the bits and pieces at cost.
Mm-hmm.
And so the rotor rings, the chains, it takes 3 regular bike chains, because it
Oh
goes from the
wow.
front, right in front of your feet, all the way behind you.
Yeah.
So so the trike's a discount. I've had to pay full whack for the tires. Somebody just gave me a £500 Garmin cycling computer. They went, "Oh, I don't use this. Here you go." And
Amazing.
yeah, yeah, it was just people's generosity. And there's the bags, the panniers on the back are from a smallish company in Canada called Arkel, which is Arkel. And they said, "Oh, we'll give you a 50% pro discount." I'm like, "Pro? How flattering."
You're a pro now.
If you'd met me, but you know, I, I've got that. I've got a sponsor gave me an Insta360 camera, and it's a company run by a neurologist, another chap that I know down in Exeter, and those Insta360s ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Um, I've gosh, I think tent Thurston Gear in Canada. This guy used to be a through walker, which they call, hiking the Pacific Coast Trail and stuff. And he got hacked
Yeah.
off. All the gear was not up to scratch, in his opinion. Created this incredible set of, he's got some backpacks and some tents. And I wrote to them rather cheekily, and he said, "Oh, we don't normally sponsor stuff, but this sounds interesting," and
Yeah.
sent me a tent, a 1 kilo one man tent. I've got just all kinds of things. A guy I grew up with has got a big company in Canada now, and they are one of the most significant sponsors. And then people have helped me out. Other people in the MS community who've got contacts.
Yeah. Well,
I've
Karen's
got.
asked, is there anything else you still need?
If I got run down by a bus now, I'd have a legitimate way to get out of this. But yeah, if you could organize a sort of glancing blow, Karen, not too bad, but enough to break a leg. It's anything else I need. Really, what we need, we people. Somebody else was asking me, and this just sounds kind of cheap. About £2,000 to go for the per diem budget, so the daily eating and sort of campsites and things like that. Because haven't got a support vehicle. I'm taking my tent. I'm taking
Yeah.
everything. I'm knowing the Canadians. As somebody said who'd done the ride already, because quite a few people have.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, he said, just knock on somebody's door and ask if you can pitch your tent in their front garden." He said,
Yeah.
"It'll be about 3 minutes before you're holding a cold beer and
Yeah.
explaining what you're doing."
Yeah.
And I'm in fully branded gear. I've got custom cycling kit that's coming. Um, you know, Scimitar. They've given me a fantastic price on that, and none of this minimum order quantity stuff, which you get with many of these things.
Yeah.
You just like, yeah, we'll waive that. We'll stick on another order, but they help with the design of it. It's got, I think it's really cool. There's a QR code on, and it'll be on the shoulder. So if anybody says, "How do I donate?" It's like,
It's here.
and I want to get a sticker, the QR code. The University of Sheffield, where I did a master's in 2017. They've got an engineering department, quite well known aerospace engineering, and being an alumni now, it became a student project. They're making a carbon fiber fairing for the rear, and
Yeah.
it's just like, if you're not into it, it's so boring. But if you're into it, like me, I'm just going, that is the coolest thing. We're
Yeah.
going to stick stickers on. HP Velotechnik, who is a company in Germany, is giving me a front fairing, which should arrive, fingers crossed, soon, because it's 45 days till I leave, Farley.
Let's go at counting down. One of
It's
the other
60, it's
questions was
61
if you
days to the start. Sorry.
the other questions, because she's obviously say 41, 45 days till you leave, was one of the questions is who's going with you? Who's doing it with you?
Um, I've got friends joining me. So actually, my neighbor Nick, he's a really cool guy. There's a picture of him. We went cycling together today. I
Yeah,
took a picture of him. He's got a white beard, so I just tease him, call him Father Christmas, which he hates. But hey ho. And but
it's
Nick
stuck
has
now.
booked. Yeah, well, in my head. Uh, Nick's booked tickets to Montreal, so I'm going from Halifax to Montreal, and then I'm meeting up with Nick, and he's going to ride with me for a week to Toronto, and he's got a friend in Toronto, so he's returning from Toronto. And I mean, that's pretty. There's a lady called Karen in Saskatchewan, and she said that her and her husband, hey, you can stay with us and, put your bike in the garage. And she said she rides a lot. She's on Strava because I log everything on Strava.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I want to ride down and meet you and then ride back a bit together. So things like that, because it's going to be just lovely to ride with people. There's another guy in Quebec City, which is before Montreal, who has MS, and he was on Strava and says, can we meet up? Because my view is I'll share the route through. I have a social media agency, Farley.
Do you now?
Oh yeah, apparently so. And so but the website, seriously, it will have the routes and everything on it. So, and my wife was
Route
asking me last night,
tracking.
is there going to be live tracking? Because
Yeah.
she's like, how do I keep it tracky? I'm going, why do you think we're in Canada so you can't?
Yeah. Yeah, so the plan is there'll obviously be there's we're trying to sort out live tracking, so you'll be able to see a little dot going across Canada. But also the Insta 360 will obviously pick up, so we'll be going live whenever possible and
Yeah.
yeah, putting up the routes of what's happened each day as well. So
Mm. But like this as well, we'll prearrange it because the intention and no plan survives the first bullet, in my experience. Yeah, but the value's in the planning. The intention is to ride for 6 days and have a day off.
yeah.
As somebody said, treat it like religion. 6 on, 1 day
Yeah.
off. And I'll,
Karen's just commented like Father Christmas tracking at Christmas. I don't know if you've ever seen across the
yeah,
globe.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
it
I
was
don't tell.
similar. Yeah, but a
I
trike,
don't.
not a sleigh.
I don't think I'll tell Nick that it's the NORAD Santa tracker that we've employed. And
Exactly that. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
but
6 days on, 1 day off.
that's the plan. I suspect there may be times when there's no point taking a day off. I feel good and keep riding, and other times it's like I'll need 2 days. I mean, I think it's going to be very flexible, and giving myself 4 months should be plenty of time.
Yeah,
Yeah. I really, all the hubris. If I was just, I'm so worried that I'm sort of melting off, going, "Oh yeah, this is easy," because you know I think I can do it, but
yeah,
I'm not getting tense at all. It's not weighing on me every single waking moment of thinking about ride things. No, not at all.
yeah. And that was one of the questions: was is it? A, it's how are you feeling about it, and how's training going as well? Because obviously you were poorly 10 days
Okay,
ago. But,
when I say poorly, it's I had something on my nose that we thought was infected. It was very funny because doctors are very funny people. I think sometimes because I just said to him, "Well, it's infected, so I am." I launched it with a needle, and he sat for you. You seemed trying to just go, and I went, "Don't worry, I sterilized it." And he went, "Oh, how?" And I went, "Oh, I put it in the flame until it glowed." And he's like, "And then you ram that into your nose." And going, yeah.
yeah.
And you would see the doctor's face was just saying you're a nutcase. And you know, but we agreed to have a week's worth of antibiotics to clear out anything. So and I thought I will take a week off. I won't do anything.
Mhm.
I wasn't feeling bad, but I feel better now. So I obviously had sort of something, but
Yeah.
it wasn't one of these like crippling illness things. And I had a week off. I've just done 3 days of 44K back to back just to I've got to put the pressure on myself.
Yeah.
But how do I feel? Apprehensive as hell. But I think that's normal.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
I'm cycling across Canada. Gavin's wandered off. Gavin's not cycling across Canada, but he certainly had something to do with the. There, off you go. And but he's famous for that. Sort of roll the hand grenade into the room and then just gently stroll off.
Yeah.
And it goes off, and we're all dealing with it. But it's right to be apprehensive, but it's just going to be so weird. Not, I've traveled so much. I've been to 35 plus countries for work in the past, and so getting on a plane is no big deal. I don't think it will hit me till I'm at the start line. There's a park in Halifax that Cycle Smith, the shop there, said, start there where you sort of dip your toes ceremonially in the sea.
Yeah.
you know, and it's called Prospect Park. And I think it'll hit me when I sit down and pedal off and think, I'm not coming back. I'm
Yeah.
going one way only. It's
Yeah.
just forward for, I mean, my trike's going to be my home slightly for the 4 months then. I
Yeah.
think that's when it will hit me as I sort of cycle out of Halifax thinking, what have I agreed to do?
Yeah, it will dawn on you. But yeah, so the 1st of May, Prospect Park,
Yeah,
Halifax. So that's worth noting to
yeah,
anyone listening to or watching to
yeah,
know that's where you'll be. And one of the other
yeah.
questions was, is there a target distance each day? So have you got in mind? So we've got the 6 days on and 1 day off, but is there a distance each day and amount of kilometers that or
80 kilometers, which is 50 miles. So, I mean, some people think in imperial and others. Canadians are kilometers and cyclists are kilometers because,
yeah,
frankly, if I can divide it by 10, that's a lot easier for my tiny little mind.
yeah,
It's just, but then I have to run it back to miles per hour. I need to average 16.8 kilometers an hour, which is 10 miles an hour. Yeah,
yeah,
average in a day. So that means that if I'm going to do 80 kilometers, you know, that's going to be 5 hours riding
yeah,
a day. And so, you know, this is an all things being equal thing. What if you have a day of like driving rain and horrendous headwinds?
yeah,
Then other days you'll have lovely weather and a tailwind, and you'll be bashing along thinking, I'm going to, smash out 120 today, no problem.
yeah,
And I hope so. I hope there's days like that.
yeah,
And I hope they're not all into the wind. But yeah, so it's 80K a day, 50 miles a day. That's the target. And if you cycle a lot, break it up like this. I did a video with Aaron Bossa the other day where I was sort of breaking stuff up and I think it's 12 and a half miles, then you can have a break. There's another 12 and a half miles, then you can have lunch. There's
yeah,
12 and a half miles break, 12 and a half miles lunch. I mean, I had 12 and a half miles finish a day, yeah.
yeah,
And then they sort of combined, where am I going to stay? Campsites and stuff. You kind of want to plan that the day before. I'll get a better idea when I'm going
yeah.
of how it goes and stuff. So, gosh, but you're touching on the stuff where I've got an element of wing it. I
Yeah,
want to wing it, but be prepared as well, if that makes sense. Yeah.
definitely. And one of the questions was about because you can't obviously prepare for how you feel, because obviously the big thing and the whole point of it is you're doing this. You've got had MS for 33 years. Is you can't prepare for how you're going to feel with the MS. So what's that
I'm
mindset?
fairly, I'm fairly confident because my MS, I've had it for a long time now. Things like my feet go to sleep when I'm riding, but they're in shoes and they're strapped to the pedals, and I know it's a sort of false feeling, and it doesn't take much to if they're really bothering me to stop. I get things with my MS. I was asking my neurologist now, Sharmali Nanapavin. I was saying, look, I can feel a bit coldy at the end of the day. She said, oh, it's just your immune system. It's fine. It's like, am I going to hurt myself? No.
Yeah.
Right. Am I making a cold worse by pressing on no? So it's
Mm.
like, suck it up, cupcake. I will be relying on paracetamol, ibuprofen, you know, lots of,
Yeah.
and, because I think at 56, I have 76 centimeters of surgical scars from what my nurse called an active lifestyle, and breaking things and having operations because you broke it. I don't let none of it's to do with MS, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who knows if it was a contributory factor? I don't.
Yeah.
Nobody can put their finger on it, and I'm not going to wait around to think, oh well, maybe I shouldn't. It's like, maybe I'm just dumb, but I'd rather learn the hard way.
Yeah. And how
Yeah.
one of the other questions in relation to the MS is where is the money going? So the million
That's an
dollars,
excellent
it's
question.
all about the $1 million. Where's the million going?
It's not to Dominic, sadly, but even though, but $1 million isn't that much to steal. As somebody said, if you're going to rob a bank, you need to get $100 million to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
So it's but all kidding aside, I've got a real thing about what I call patient side. stuff. So you've got the test tubes and the white coats, and that's awesome.
Hmm.
Because we're never going to get far with MS, without that kind of testing. And I know these people, but there's so much that we can do for ourselves. But the main thing is, Farley, you or I do not learn, none of us learn, when somebody else is sort of telling us to do something.
Yeah.
Whether it's your dentist saying floss your teeth, or your doctor saying, well, stop smoking, lose weight, whatever.
Hmm.
We do it better when we're with other people like us. And that comes under the heading of brain health projects. It's woolly in that sense. The money is going somewhere nice, safe, and secure. It's going into a non-profit in the US, which is exactly the same as a charity in the UK, say. But there's a brain health center of the Rockies. I know them. It's run by a neurologist and his wife, and they have set up a separate fund because I'm not a charity.
Yeah.
And I didn't want people to think I'm trying to get the money into, oh, just give it to Dom.
Yeah.
So it's going into the Brain Health Center of the Rockies. If you're in the US, it's tax deductible as well because
Yeah.
they're a non-profit, which is all structured. I mean, the other thing is the US dollar, like it or not, is still the king currency in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they're going, it might not be forever, but presently, if somebody said you can only take one currency with you, and you had to go somewhere in the world, you'd take dollars.
Yeah.
So that's why it's going into there. I am on a separate steering panel with a chap in London called Professor Klaus Schmier. He's on the steering panel as well. So it's deciding how it's going to be distributed. We want to support brain health projects. So brain health, things, exercise, lifestyle interventions that we can all do to make RMS better. Because
Mhm.
the doctors can give us drugs and tell us things, yeah, and they can control that. But you cannot just rely. I mean, one doctor I know, Aaron Boster, said, exercise is the second most effective DMT, and so brain health, it's not just an MS thing, but in this context, it is.
Yeah.
And they might be doing it in conjunction with their local MS society. They might be doing it because they're more organized, but we want to make it easy to apply. People to come and say, I mean, it could be something like we're starting a local running group or walking group or sitting
Mm.
yoga group, and it's in the village hall. And we all fancy t-shirts, and we hope, to get some money to rent the hall, buy the t-shirts, and sort of some esprit de corps, some camaraderie, and it's making things happen that are patient involvement,
Yeah.
not test tubes and lab coats. It's I have nothing against it, but I think there's more that we can do. And frankly, if somebody with MS, I know I don't have to double check with them. I know that they know.
Yeah.
It's you haven't got MS. It's one of these things. So have you?
No, I don't.
Oh,
No, I don't. I agree with you. No, I don't have MS.
yeah, no, I just
But I
should
think
have
it's
checked it before. But
that's
yeah,
hard to imagine as well, because I think for people like myself, and we've had a couple of questions about fatigue, because MS is obviously associated with being tired all the time. So you're going to be
you, you,
cycling for
you
five
nearly called it
hours, six
M&S.
days a week. How's that gonna How's that gonna
Yeah.
work?
So exercise helps with fatigue. I didn't just you got to work up to it. There is no way that you can exercise at the level that I'm doing now, uh, if you didn't work up to it. Because I've worked up to it. I mean, the other thing is I've had an active lifestyle. I've done stuff that I enjoy, like skiing or cycling or rock climbing or whatever, my whole life. And so the exercise kind of comes with it, like
Hmm.
it or not. You're not doing it to get exercise, but it exercises you.
Yeah.
And so I'm just very much. I've lost the plot, Farley. I've lost the thread of the question now. MS.
MS.
I blame my brain is rotting. Oh, but back to fatigue. So
So when
I'm
your
thinking,
brain gets fatigued, but physically when you get fatigued as well.
okay. So I don't know where everybody is, but it is. I'm just looking at it. So it's 4:30 in the afternoon.
Hmm.
I got up at 7 o'clock. I
Hmm.
have ridden 44 kilometers quite hard today, according to Strava, which got all excited and said, oh, you've done your best efforts and power output and stuff. Mostly because I was riding with my friend, and I think it's fun, but it's worse because you're secretly like going faster with each other than you are. But anyway, so yeah, fatigue. I get fatigued, but towards the end of the day, I can make it through the day. I also take a drug called modafinil, which was prescribed to me. And if you're in the UK, modafinil is on the NICE guidelines, and any neurologist who goes, oh, no, because some of them are really odd about it.
Mm,
It's like, you're not going to turn me into a drug addict. I've got MS. I really want to get, I use it with other stuff. I use modafinil I have a coffee every morning. Well, I'm more than one during the day, but I take 200 milligrams of modafinil every morning. And
yeah,
if you're wondering, it's on the NICE guidelines, NG220. NICE being the National Institute for Clinical Excellence. They write the guidelines for treating MS. So if you look up NG220 NICE, you'll get it. It's under the pharmacological management of fatigue. So don't be put off. If your neurologist is trying to discourage you, geez, get them to give you a month's worth to try. It may not suit you. It doesn't suit everybody. One of my
yeah,
friends tried it and didn't like it. He said his heart raced the whole time. My heart has never raced from modafinil.
yeah,
So it's but fatigue is it's really dull. When you get that heavy lidded feeling, I say to people, it's like having a warm blanket put over, like a warm wet blanket put over you. It's I don't know if anyone knows Greek mythology. It's Sisyphus, pushing the boulder uphill constantly. Everything
yeah,
feels like a Sisyphean task, and it's just it's non-stop. And I see people saying, "God, I had a shower and it wiped me out."
yeah,
Just the effort of having a shower, and I get that, but exercise is hard. It's harder to do when you start. I would say it's not so hard for me now to go out and do stuff, but it's harder when you've got fatigue to just. I make myself get out of bed in the morning. I set myself a target. If I'm in bed at 6 and I'm lying there, I'll say, "Well, I'll be out by 7."
yeah,
Or as Matthew Paris, the Times columnist, said once, "If I hear thought for the day on Radio 4, I've laid in bed for too long."
yeah,
But I mean, it's a target. It's like, get out, do
yeah,
something, and put one foot in front of the other, and your body will follow.
yeah.
And it's just once you're standing up and literally walking towards the coffee machine, it's
There.
all of a sudden you're waking up, and the more I lie in bed, the worse I feel.
Yeah.
So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, I mean,
And
that's the other thing.
interestingly, that was the one of the other questions is which you've kind of already answered was how do you manage it? How do you manage your MS? And that's exactly what you're talking about now, isn't it? This is how you manage it.
I flogged myself on. I don't think I come from the generation, I suppose, where what was it? Free range parenting. It's like there's a door, come back at supper time. And my mum would
Yeah.
stand out on the deck. We lived in rural Canada and ring a
Yeah.
school bell, and you had 15 minutes from that. So if you're out of earshot, you didn't eat.
Yeah.
And and you also, it's one of these, you ate everything that was put in front of you. It was not liking it was not really a discussion point.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of got that mindset, and also was in the military previously, and it's I always hear these scenes like Dry Your Eyes, Princess, because I also think maybe other people should care, but they don't. They've all got their own things, and really my welfare ultimately is down to me,
Yeah.
and that's what drives me because I'm doing this because I can do it. The thing for me, I was born in Vancouver and I haven't seen the vast majority of the country. I have been no further west than Calgary. So the
Wow.
benefit for me is getting to see the rest of the country once before I cark it. And hopefully I'll make it to the end before that happens. But it's but I want to do something. I want to show people that it can be done. Because I
Yeah.
haven't somebody was doubting my message. So once I stopped laughing, it's like, would you like to see my MRIs, my drug record?
Yeah.
They don't give you alemtuzumab because they think you might have MS.
Yeah.
It's it's an ass kicker, as somebody said to me, which
Yeah.
but it's not my. It did kick me around, but it's my view is MS needs to be treated early and aggressively, and that's not just my personal thing. That's research, but
Yeah.
tiptoeing up to it and going, well, we'll escalate your drugs when it gets a bit worse. It's like I just don't get the attitude. Um, it's like you have to get more sick to win the prize of better treatment. Like let's start on the better treatment.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Why
know,
not?
and not get more sick.
Yeah.
Well,
Makes
it's
sense.
irreversible. You know what?
Yeah.
Once some of your nervous system's gone, it ain't coming back.
No.
You know, so you know, it's a whole different conversation from riding across Canada. But
Yeah.
it's
Well,
you know,
back to
I'm
Pride. We've had a couple of interesting questions. Which one was, are you afraid of the bears?
anybody who's not afraid of bears is an idiot, and I will go that far. Yeah. Um, will I encounter many bears? I'm sure I may see one or two, but highly unlikely, grossly. So where I'm going is through population.
Yeah.
So you get bears in population because they come for rubbish and stuff. So you
Yeah.
don't put food in your tent. There's special places to lock it in the campsite.
Hmm.
You know, because the bears they're not interested in snacking on you.
No.
And I saw a video with a Far Eastern tourist trying to feed a bear peanuts, which I thought was it wasn't brave, it was dumb. You
Yeah.
know, because I think they thought they were dealing with Paddington. It's like it's Paddington with long, sharp bits, and you know, and they boshed the peanuts out of the person's hand, and they screamed and jumped back in the car. It's like, yeah, wise idea.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
but you'll
Um,
never outrun a bear. Don't climb a tree. Bears are faster. Even if I'm flat out on my bike, a bear will. If I'm on the flat, it's bear one, dumb nil. But you're not. If you got between a mother and their cubs, that's
yeah.
not a good thing. But you
Yeah.
get that kind of scenario when you're out hiking. Yeah, when you're on the roads and the campsites and stuff, they're not bringing their cubs near
No.
them generally because I mean, human beings. I will be carrying bear spray, Farley. Bear
Yeah.
spray is exactly what the police in the UK carry as CS spray or capture spray. Yeah, and
Wow.
it's and the funny thing, you can tell how dumb people are by the warnings on packaging. And the warnings on bear sprays do not apply to yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, imagine the bear going, "Well, that was a spicy snack," but it's just you know,
Brilliant.
you be bear spray as well. You need, but that's a last resort.
Yeah.
It's like why do policemen carry guns? Not because they're waving them around the whole time. I mean, no policeman wants to draw his weapon,
Yeah.
or her weapon, and but it's have the bear spray. And when you are camping, even in a campsite, yeah, you walk around with it. You can't get your bear spray and say to the bear, "Wait here. I'm just going to go grab something
Yeah.
from my tent."
Um,
So it's I just, but I'm not scared of bears. I have a healthy respect for them. You've got to be sensible. You've got to read the advice.
yeah.
You know, don't be a dick. Yeah, it's just one of these. That's how you get in trouble. And I'd prefer my scars to come from surgery than bears.
Yeah, I think
If
that's a
I had
good
to have them.
statement to make. And that
Yeah.
leads on to one of the questions about load. So how are you? Because obviously, if you're taking bear spray, how much food are you taking? So are you buying stuff on the way? How are you going to be managing that and the load you're packed up?
Well, you, I mean, I have a nutrition sponsor. The people who do all the gels and stuff. They're called Torque, but you can't take that with you. So that they're a consultancy as well. So it's sort of things. Instead of recovery drink milk. It's a very good sort of second place thing. Um, I will. The worst case is, I mean, it's a country that runs on the automobile, North America, yeah, well, Canada and the US, yeah. So you get gas stations or petrol stations,
Yeah,
and I have never ever come across a gas station that doesn't at least have cans of Coke, nacho chips, and beef jerky.
yeah.
You know, not the cornerstone of a nutritious
I was
diet,
going to
but if
say.
that's all it was, yeah, and water. I will be carrying a water bladder, 2 liter water bladder. I will
Yeah,
be carrying two more 750 ml bottles.
yeah,
It would be unwise not to do that unless you're going to very heavily populated areas.
yeah.
Where um, there's going to be parts of the ride, more of the prairies, which is a central part of Canada,
Hmm.
where I probably won't go around a corner for about 600 kilometers, but it's a bit like the Nullarbor Plain in Australia. I hitchhiked across there when I was 18, and it's this massive long road with one tiny kink in the middle, but it's just and you know, food. Denny's is like the sort of breakfast McDonald's type thing. You know, it's for
Yeah.
example, the same guy who said knock on the door. He said, go into the diners. And he said, get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee or whatever, get cycling. You know, eat a granola bar or something because they'll always
Mhm.
have all those kinds of things. And he said, then you go to a Denny's and you order two breakfasts and spend 5 minutes explaining to the waitress that there's only one of you, but you'd like two breakfasts, please.
Yeah.
and
Brilliant.
and you know, so it's essentially you're on about 5,000 calories a day when you're
Yeah.
doing this, which is a fair amount because if you were made to eat 5,000 calories, you'd struggle every day, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
But
definitely.
this, I mean, I came in from my ride. You know, I had a big bowl of porridge this morning. Then I came in from my ride and had a whole bunch of cheesy pasta, and then much to my wife's, and had four kipper fillets because I'm thinking it's protein, it's fish, and now I'm getting monads. The house stinks, but and I will eat supper as well, you know, and that's just training like this. So it's I will eat everything I can get my hands on, largely. You know,
Does
it's
it
it's
concern you
one
that
time
you
ago.
won't have the whole foods as much when you're cycling? Because obviously your diet is a lot of whole foods and homemade and healthy versus what will be available when you're on the
Okay,
challenge.
I cook from fresh because I love cooking. Yeah, I love the idea of creating something out of raw ingredients and also cooking for other people. You know, it's nice to go, there you go, and just make a nice meal and give, you know,
Yeah.
to my wife or to friends or whatever. Um, I'll be living on far more things. This is the one time in my life when I can probably eat four donuts and they won't even touch the size. You know, if you come across four donuts, eat them. You
Yeah.
know, you need the intake. I'll be trying to eat as much nice stuff as I can.
Mhm.
You know those packs of ramen noodles?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I reckon I will probably never want to see one of them again when I'm finished because I have a Trangia stove, you know, boiler. I mean, they're the fastest way to get carbs in. You can eat a couple packs of them. Yeah, they're light to carry. You know, and you finish the day and you can just monster them down. You know, they're quick to make because you don't want to,
Yeah.
excuse my language, fart around doing gourmet cooking when you're camping. You know,
Yeah.
well, I don't. And I've camped enough that I really, you know, see all these videos going, then do this and do that. And I'm thinking, did you have like a porter carry this in? You know,
I was gonna
it's
I was gonna say you won't be able to pack for gourmet cooking. You won't have a kitchen with you, so
I'll be wanting to buy sort of on the day or you know fresh stuff you got to eat on the day.
yeah.
I mean, cycling in France, which I've done a lot of on sort of holidays and stuff, you know, you roll into the supermarket about 10 and you buy lunch for later and you just sort of buy
Mhm.
three or four baguettes, a whole sort of salami or whatever, and a big
Yeah.
round of brie or something like that, and then a massive bunch of grapes, you know, and you sit there and just wolf it all down at lunchtime because it, fresh food, you know, and I just that's part of the unknown, you know.
Yeah.
Will that be ideal? I'll be looking for the calories first. Um, I won't be able to have juiced kale every morning. Not that
No.
I do now because it looks revolting, but you know, yeah, it's that kind of thing.
As long
You
as the
know,
coffee's available.
that seriously, coffee. I mean, without coffee, life's poor.
Yeah.
And you know, it's and if I have nothing else, you know, and it'll have. I'm not a major instant coffee fan, but it's the
Mhm.
simplest way to just have a brew in the morning and some instant coffee and some water, and at least that will get you going on the road to where you find somewhere like a diner or a Denny's, or in populated areas, you're more likely to come across them.
Yeah.
But you know, it's going to be swinging to a supermarket, lock the trike up. The
Yeah.
nice thing is, it's a real bugger to steal because nobody really, you know, and the first time you jump on one, like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Where
and
do
I
I
can
go
just,
with this?
well, I can just walk up behind them and cuff them around the head and go give it back, you know, because they're trying to, you know, struggle to work everything out. But imagine never having tried a car before and then going, I'm going to steal a car, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, can't drive it.
Yeah, good luck. So
Oh.
it's, but
Another
yeah, it's,
question was,
um,
are you following a training plan? I can't imagine there is a such a. It's not like doing a marathon, so there's not going to be a set training plan for 8,000 kilometers. But what are you following?
Have I got a strict down to the day one? No, but I'm backing off the weights now because weights are for strength and they're good for cycling. But now it's just the endurance because the big thing is back to backing it, as in day after day after day.
Yeah.
And um, you can't do a train. Hope isn't going to train you. You've got to get out there and do it. Yeah, it's not that I hope that I can do it. I want to know that I can do it.
Yeah.
And so, what does somebody say? Hope is not a strategy. So it's uh I am right now. Gosh, you can go to Strava and follow me.
Yeah.
Strava.com, and you type in Dominic Shadbolt or Ride Canada for MS. And if you want to monitor my training, because it's getting more and more now to the cycling, I'm going to knock it off. In the 2 weeks, I fly to Halifax. My stepfather lives in Halifax. So
Mhm.
I'll go and stay with him. That's 2 weeks to get everything prepped and sorted. And I will do a couple of sort of like discovery rides, shall we say, and make
Yeah.
sure everything's right. But people who run marathons, they'll tell you you don't have to train for the full distance of a marathon to do a marathon.
Yeah.
So I'll be upping it to about 65K a day. I'm doing next Saturday. I'm doing 2 days of 110K a day each, one day off, and then 2 days of 110K each. And that's a big 5 days.
Yeah. That is.
So, and I'm riding from. I live near Oxford, and I'm riding up to sort of Central Wales,
Mhm.
and because that's where Torque is based. Torque do all the nutrition stuff, and we're still having interviews and stuff there, and press and what have you, and then coming back. But can I just say, there's a grand total of 4 people watching now. I don't know if it's because I can bore for Britain, or
Be
it
fair,
was up to.
UK time for a Saturday afternoon. I think that's pretty good.
Okay, well, yeah, but North America, we're hardly getting flooded with the North Americans. But I am really grateful to everybody who's made the effort, especially you, Karen. I can see you're writing things. I told you my eyesight's
She's put
terrible.
she's put a new hashtag is needed starting in Canada. Hashtag feed Dom, which I think is quite a good idea. Or hashtag Dom needs coffee. So even if we get people following you and coming out with their mugs of coffee they've made for you.
I don't mind. Do you know what I'm hoping is, 'cause in all seriousness, I reckon we can raise $1 million if the message is spread. Because the way the algorithm works is when it sees that people that aren't related, that don't follow already and stuff like this engage, it goes, oh, well, this must be interesting. And it puts it out to more people.
Yeah.
And the strap line of just $1. If you can, I did an interview with Aaron Boster in the States. He's got a massive YouTube channel for MS. $5,000 a donate, not 5,000, sorry, 1,500, 1,500 of donations came in within 24 hours after that.
Yeah.
And several of them were the $1 ones. And I thought it's really cool because if you can just do a buck, do a buck,
Yeah.
and if you can't do any, then share it,
Yeah.
and comment, because our lives are ruled by the wretched algorithm.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah. I think
gone are the
that's the
days.
best thing to say on social media. It is free to share, comment, engage, like anything like that, or tag someone else who might be interested, because yeah, that's free and it doesn't take 2 seconds to do it. So
Yeah, I mean that's if somebody says how can I help, I'm just my answer is engage with the posts and everything because it's a little bit of effort. So yeah, it's not money, but it is a little bit of effort. Just to punt it out and show it to your friends and go, who look at this lunatic.
yeah,
He's like across
what he's
Canada.
doing.
Yeah, so it's but
We've just had a comment from MS's Chronic who's listening while running. So go,
oh well, that's
crack on.
brilliant. If you're listening while running, I think that's just awesome. For God's sake, don't fall over. I'd hate to be responsible.
I feel like we should do some heavy music or something to really get you pumped up to keep going. But yeah, thanks for listening while
and
running.
and,
That's
and then just
commitment.
halfway through scream bear.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We've talked about being chased by bears, so it's kind of
Well, I was in Canada a year and a bit ago, and with my cousin, we were walking in woods, not far from his house, which is on the edge of Vancouver, and this tree had this bloody great gash in it, and I went, "What's that from?" He went, "Bears," and I said, but that's recent. He went, oh yeah. And I'm like, what? And he said, oh, don't worry, they won't bother us. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
But eh, yeah, essentially, yeah, don't mess with bears and they won't mess with you. Bears generally are not interested in engaging with you.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
it's there's a man called Trump. I'm sure he wants to chat, just south of the border. But yeah,
Yeah, that'd be good.
uh,
Ah,
yeah.
so
I mean, another reason I've had Why Canada. It's like, well, it's big.
yes.
I haven't seen it, and I'm half Canadian. So if I fall over and break my arm, nothing to do with cycling, I've got health care. You know, I have I have a
Canadian
Canadian passport as
passport.
well as a British one, and a birthday gift for my mum. She said, "Buy food on your way." I'm like, "Mum, that won't get me many days, but that's lovely, thank you." Yeah, it's but yeah, I've got a Canadian passport as well as a British one, so that's another reason to go across Canada is because it makes life so much easier. I
Yeah,
don't know if anybody's traveled into the States recently, but Homeland Security are the least fun bunch of people I've met
yeah, definitely.
in my life. But partly, is there anything else? Because I am talking in fatigue. I'm knackered, and we're supposed to go out tonight, and I might just check my eyes for light leaks for 20
Fair,
minutes.
fair. No, that was all the questions we had. And Karen's just said, have we had any contact with monkey socks? Have monkey socks?
Yep, I've
Or
got two pairs of monkey socks because I walked 100 miles in 4 days a little while ago, and I sent them a note on Instagram when we started, and they didn't reply. My view is I can't make somebody sponsor me, and I would wear monkey socks every day if I got pairs of monkey socks.
oh, there
But
you go then.
well, I mean they're good socks. I mean I walked the South Downs Way 100 miles with two pairs of monkey socks.
If anyone
You
can
know,
take that testimonial and tag in and share with monkey socks, that'd be great.
well,
Thank you very much.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Because otherwise it'll be. I mean I've got a Torque logo on my top as well, but Torque went, oh here and sent me six pairs of socks. So it would save me black and orange socks all day. I can tell you that because I've got to make a choice.
Yeah.
But
Oh, well,
yes, Karen.
just said
They, they,
I'd
they,
speak with James, who's Mr. Monkey Socks. So she's going to speak to James for you. So thanks for that, Karen.
Karen, thank you. Yeah, this is back to the what can people do? Things like this. Everybody knows somebody.
Yeah.
Is my view. And
Yeah.
I've
It's been good.
with the channel the MS Guide, people say, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I tend to help people navigate the system just because I've been in it for a while. I
Yeah.
am, as my GP said, we were chatting, he said, well, you're doctor adjacent. And I thought, yeah, fair enough. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I don't give medical advice, but I
Yeah.
know plenty of people to talk to, or at least say, it's like the modafinil. This is how it works. It's nice NG220, because like it or not, it's a system that needs to be exploited to get the best MS care. When I say exploited, I mean understanding where to go. I would
Yeah.
never like to think that I got something at somebody else's expense.
Yeah.
But I've seen, I've helped many people who sort of just unlocked some things, should we say. It's a bit like getting the cheat codes to the game.
Yeah.
Because I think I've written a scientific paper with Professor Schmerer and Professor Baker, and I'm the lead author, and I've taken a bunch of NHS data which just shows that people in the UK are treated unequally when it comes to drugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there can be many reasons, but sometimes it's outdated attitudes, I think, mostly with some of the neurologists. And I'm not going to say it out loud now, but I know places in the UK that I wouldn't want to get MS.
Yeah.
And I know places where if I had to have an MS diagnosis, I'd rather be treated, say, at Bart's in London,
Yeah.
than I would be up in the northwest,
Yeah.
but not Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just that, but I mean, that's in peer review. Scientific papers have to be peer reviewed.
Yeah.
And so it's had its first round, and we've replied to all the comments and stuff because it's just the way it goes, and it'll be better for it.
Yeah.
So it's but
I think that's really important to note for everyone who's, if anyone's watching this on because the video goes up on replay or anything, it's just to go
yeah.
back because you're attracting new followers, some a lot with MS, but also some cycling ones as well. So I think anyone new on different platforms that have now come across Dom and the MS guide, just scroll back and look at some old videos as well, because I think that's really, really important. It gives a good, well, or gave me a good understanding of where you're coming from as well. So I think that's really, really important. And then obviously go to rc4ms.org, just go on the website as well, where everything's on there and we're
Well,
updating it each week as well. So
I think you've done a great job of everything that you want to know is on the front page. If you don't want to go any further, it's all on the front page. If you want to dig into stuff, great, knock yourself out.
yeah,
But I hate websites that take me ages to find what I want. And
yeah,
my view is, if we're going to ask somebody to donate money, make it easy,
yeah,
or share it on the socials, because all the socials are across the top of it. So if somebody wants to go on there, but I mean, that's the thing, my anxiety would be to raise $10,000. And not, if I raise $750,000, it's hardly going to be Dom, you suck, but
that's not a fail.
no, no, no. But I would consider this, I mean, we've had incredible backing from people, to the tune of about $35,000 so far, just to enable it to go ahead,
Yeah,
kit, airfare, all that kind of stuff. And so it's apprehensive. Let's do this again. People can
yeah,
put in more questions. I don't mind answering the same questions twice.
yeah.
I
No,
really,
that was
I
one of the
really want somebody in the
questions.
comments asking mental questions, just like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
I've never been trolled on YouTube, so
But there you go.
Karen,
That's
Karen, you can do that next time. You can start throwing in the awkward stuff.
yeah, if we can have some trolling, we know we've made it. That would be great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that's what I mean. If you've been trolled,
Yeah,
you've made it.
yeah,
So
definitely.
it's
So,
yeah. I saw
oh,
somebody trolling Rory Stewart the other day and saying, "Oh, you're really dumb," and I thought, just as a hunch, I think he's smarter than you are.
yeah, yeah, without any context, definitely. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
no,
So,
but
all
we'll
right.
definitely do another one. I think if we do them in increments, and then
Yeah.
during the journey as well, there'll be some
Hello,
more.
Chaley. I was just seeing hello come up from Chaley.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel bad, Chaley. We've been online nearly an hour, and we're probably going to end it about now because I was crying that I'm tired because I've
yeah,
been out training today. But it's all this will be going up. If you're just new to the live stream, it goes up on the channel. So if you go to themsguide.com, which is the YouTube channel, all this will be here. Me and Farley talking.
yeah.
So it's
Oh,
but
Charlie said no
no
worries
worries.
and sent you for sunflowers, so all's good.
Thank you very much. I always feel dreadful when somebody's made the effort and then it's like, oh yeah, you missed it. Bye.
Yeah, we're off now.
Oh God, you're here. Bye bye.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it's all there. And hey, thank you very much for tuning in. This is a complete new thing for me. It's the first time I've ever gone live. So
Oh,
thank you for
yeah.
treating me kindly, Farley.
Yeah, no worries. And thank you, Karen, for all your comments. Just message on any of the social media platforms because if Dom doesn't pick it up, I pick it up. So yeah.
Uh, Karen's got my
We're kind
email.
of
I
now
think
one and the same on any of the social media platforms. So yeah.
yeah, essentially you speak for me because my wife says, "Oh, you put this up today." I'm like, did I?
Yeah. What have I talked about again? No, we try and do everything daily,
Yeah.
so everything goes up. So whatever Dom's doing that day, I'm trying to do it every single day
Yeah.
because I think that's really important that you get sort of a live feed almost. Well, not quite live, but what's
Well,
actually
I shot
happening.
my daily video today, and Farley makes me do a video a day, and I shot it in front of a load of pigs in Oxfordshire outside. It was so beautiful and sunny, and it was a lovely free-range pig farm. And I thought, well, how rural can you get?
Yeah.
Free-range cycling and free-range pigs.
Oh, definitely. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
All right.
thanks for watching, everybody.
All right. No
Just
problem.
go
Take care,
on
everyone.
to rc4ms.org, go to the website and have a look. And as Dom said earlier, just $1 would be brilliant.
Thanks. Okay,
All right.
now I've got to work out because I've never done this before. I think I just hit the X, but I'm gonna kill it and it will work out
We'll
somehow.
see what
So thanks, guys.
happens.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Oh, here we go. End stream. Yeah. All right. I'll end the stream. Bye bye.